So I have great news for whoever is playing with the PL-8B in the Chinese tech tree, aka the J10A and the J11B. So we might actually be receiving, in a soonish kind of future, a very interesting buff to the missile. So they didn't specify if they're gonna do it or not specifically, but there are some things indicating that they're gonna fix the IRCCM, or rather the seeker of the missile. So what we have is basically a bug report made by Yamahagi, which got actually accepted and closed, which normally means that we're gonna have it implemented at a certain point in the game. So what are the changes and what is Yamahagi saying? I will leave the links in the description for you to properly take a look as well. But basically, he is saying that obviously now we have the PL-8B using the exact same reduced FOV IRCCM of the R73. It basically has a 3 degrees normal FOV. Once you launch the missile, that FOV gets a 0.75 degree size instead of the 3, to basically minimize the chance of a flare getting into the FOV and basically creating an IRCCM, a countermeasure against the flares, right? So they have, or he has, or she, I don't know, has basically information that confirms that, first of all, the PL-8B has a digital signal processing and a multi-element seeker-based IRCCM, which means that it basically uses in the game, for the in the game purposes, it will use 2 types of countermeasures. So how it works in the game, in real life, you know, so in the game it's just a big FOV, you launch the missile, it becomes a very small FOV, so decreasing the chance of the missile actually seeing a flare, right? Or the seeker, you know, detecting a flare because it's shortly outside the FOV, and you know the FOV will just maintain it on the engine. But basically how it works in real life is that the seeker scans the missiles instantaneously with the FOV of 3 degrees, you know, just like in game, and it has basically a narrow sub FOV of 0.3 to 0.5 degrees, and during this tracking it basically creates you know, a memory of what the actual waveform is like, right? And once there is a spike of, you know, waveforms of the IR, you know, type, indicating a flare, for example, or afterburner activation or anything like that, it will actually compare to what it has memorized, and it will have a decision, you know, either it will go to that other one or it will remain at the previous one or anything like that. Basically shutting the seeker off, kinda. It's kinda like that. It's not really that, but in game it would work like that, right? So that it can continue to go to the target. If it's an afterburner or if it's a flare, it will ignore the flare and remain with the afterburner. So more or less, it will be kinda the same as the seeder shut off kinda FOV IRCCM that we have in the AIM-9M, for example, right? So it's not exactly that, but it's kinda like that, okay? Together with that, it has an electronic gating technology that reduces the FOV to 1 degree, minimizing not only in that way of ignoring the flare, but also minimizing the chance of detecting the flare in the first place. So basically what he's saying here is that in the game, it would have basically 2 types of IRCCM, the 2 types that we have in the game. So the seeker, you know, getting smaller to 1 degree instead of 3. It's right now 0.75, so it would be, you know, less than that or more than that, right? And then together with that, it would have kinda the seeker shut off mechanic, okay? So of course they can mess with these a little bit here and there, so that it is balanced, because it would be the best IRCCM in the game. I mean, it would literally ignore all the flares, shutting the seeker off, and at the same time it would have a very small FOV to not even see, you know, the flare at all, you know. So at the end of the day, it would basically mean that it would fly like an AIM-9 from far away, So it would just ignore the flares and continue on its flight path. So yeah, like that. And at the same time, at the up close, it would be like an R-73. So it would be the perfect missile. That's why probably Gaijin didn't add this yet, right? Because they are maybe with a little bit of, you know, fear that this might be too OP. Because to be honest, we will see a lot of multi-element seekers, you know, in the game in the future, which means that in the future everybody will have this type of IRCCM, and this would be the first one because the missile is already in the game, right? Like I said, again, I don't know if there's gonna be, like, they're just going to change for the, you know, shutters, like seeker shut off mechanic, or the reduced FOV mechanic, or I don't know, like they're gonna do something apparently, but I think what they're gonna do is add the seeker shut off and have kind of this post-gating FOV in a smaller one, so it would be kind of in between the two, but not really at the same time, you know, to not be too OP or something like that. Again, it was accepted and then closed after that, so they are looking into it, and we will probably see, like I said, a buff to the PL-8B. It feels like that, right? Hopefully that gets added, you know. I think it's fair if it's a realistic thing of the missile, and to be honest, they might as well, you know. They might as well, because in the future everybody will have this type of technology. Everybody will be as strong or better than this missile anyway. So, and we are not that far from it. So having a buff that basically introduces these types of missiles, seekers, into the game right now would mean that the game would already have kind of the initial, like, footwork to add Python Force, R-74Ms, AIM-9Xs, you know, AM-5s, IRIS-Ts, PL-10s, and whatnot, you know, and all the other missiles that can be added. Basically, the next generation of IR missile that will, if not added correctly, break the game a little bit. So these missiles are going to be very, very, very hard to evade. I'm kind of scared even, but to be honest, do you really want to see an F-22 firing an AIM-9M? I don't think it's even possible, right? So they need to do this to be able to proceed with the generations of jets that are coming in the future of War Thunder, right? So this is my opinion. Like I said, leave it in the comments what is yours, because I'm gonna leave in the description the actual bug report for you to take a look. If I interpreted anything, let me know in the comments. If I explained anything, let me know in the comments. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye. See ya.